Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today we are going to delve into small spaces. So many of us live in cramped spaces all over the country, all over the world. So I'm going to give you actionable solutions as to what to do. So in this video, we are going to reveal very important designer secrets that will transform your cramped space into an oasis. So you'll learn how to make your ceilings look taller, your rooms feel wider, everything more spacious and more livable. Make sure that you keep watching because tip number 5 is going to be a game changer. When furnishing a small space, selecting the right pieces is absolutely crucial. You can't just buy whatever you want. You really have to be very edited. And I'm going to give you detailed tips as to what pieces to purchase. I'm going to give you suggestions for those. Everything will be linked in the description section. By the way, I am wearing Lily silk top that I've worn before, I think like over and over again. So that's going to also be in the description section. As a reminder, all of these images that are going to pop up, there are going to be products that are useful and therefore the description section will house them. Links to these items that you could possibly purchase if you're interested. So when designing a small space, you really have to opt for furniture pieces that are leggy. They're streamlined furniture that has a sense of openness. This openness will allow the space to feel a lot more spacious and it won't overcrowd your space. Having heavy items with heavy legs and heavy bases is really the wrong thing to do in a tight space. Especially if you want to be able to move these pieces around. They can't be very heavy. They need to be multifunctional. So you want to invest in multi-purpose furniture such as ottomans with storage or extendable dining room tables. You want to do maybe a coffee table with hidden storage. All of these things can be both work spaces and multifunctional spaces. Now, choose scaled down versions of furniture. For example, a love seat. Instead of a full-sized huge sofa, get a little mini baby love seat so that you've got the look of a designer room, but then you don't have this gigantic piece of furniture that's going to overpower your space. When shopping for furniture, always use your, what am I going to say? Always use your measuring tape and always look at the dimensions online. Do not just eyeball it and buy whatever you see because you think it's going to fit. It is very deceiving. Pictures are extremely deceiving. So you must measure and you must look at your dimensions very carefully online. Also, a great tip is to add painter's tape to your flooring. So just buy a little bit of blue tape and kind of plan and use and think about the flow of your furniture and make sure that everything actually fits and that you can actually walk around your pieces. One of the ways to really make your space feel expansive is to do the following. But before I go into that, make sure and hit that subscribe button. We are so close to 100,000, guys. I can't even believe it. We're gonna get there. The plaque is for me and you, and it really would mean a great deal to me. So if you can do that, it takes a second. It will change certainly my life, and hopefully I can continue to give you guys all the content that you like. So one of the ways to really maximize your space is to have clever furniture arrangements. And I'm going to try and relay that to you as best as I can via this particular YouTube. Use L-shaped sofas to define areas in your open plan space so that you are sectioning areas off. This can create a natural sort of division and allow you to be able to have what is more of a livable space without really having walls. And so this is great if you're in a studio apartment, or it's great to really divide spaces. Another great way is to place a desk behind a sofa, what would have been, I guess, a credenza, and this will create a multi-functioning space. It can be an office, believe it or not. It can also just be a beautiful credenza. Even having table lamps, which is useful for a desk / credenza, is going to look great. Also, utilize corners. Corners are the jewels, the hidden jewels in a small apartment that many people overlook. You can have a little nook. You can have a beautiful chair with an ottoman with its standing lamp, and this could be its own little section. So if there's multiple people living in this space, someone could have a bit of a quiet corner. There is also ways to strategically divide your space, and you can do this with furniture. So you can do it with bookcases, you can do it with curtains, you can do it with plants. There are lots of creative ways that you can create divisions within spaces that will allow you to feel as if you are in a different space that is very workable. Also consider floating your furniture in the middle. I know many of us in smaller spaces feel like we have to lean our furniture, especially our sofas, against the wall. But even in small spaces, you can create this openness, this flow where you can actually move about the room and create the center of the room as more of a functional space. Remember, negative space is important. So don't feel the need to fill every inch of the room with something. Some empty space can help a room feel a little bit more balanced. Make the most of your walls and your ceilings. Quick reminder before I get into that if you want to book a Zoom consultation, I am always available. I'm always here. You can do so by clicking the Zoom link in the description section, and it will take you to my calendar, and we can book a 25-minute call or an hour call or whatever you may need. One great example of really opening up your space, and it seems a little bit obvious, but it really is important, is to install floor-to-ceiling bookshelves. I've seen a lot of people install half bookshelves in a very tight space and then complain that they don't have enough storage. So go all the way to the top. If you can, buy these directly at IKEA, measure, go, put them in, or have them custom made, or DIY them. However you want to do it, you really should take it to the very top. Another great, very important example and tip is to use tall and narrow dressers. So instead of these wide ones that take up way too much horizontal space, you want to go vertical. Remember, vertical is your friend in small spaces and will also give you the storage that you are looking for and the capacity to be able to really have the balance of height. So if you have your sofa that's low and you've got this tall dresser, that is really a great combination. And so it really is not only visually appealing, but also quite useful. Also, this draws the eye upward and makes your windows appear larger and your space feel bigger. So that's really a win-win. Another great thing to do is to utilize wall-mounted shelves and cabinets. They are basically ubiquitous. I've seen them everywhere. They're almost trending in a way in kitchens and everywhere else. So, have them, mount them, use them. They're a great way to add additional storage and additional space in your home. Another great way to maximize your space, which a lot of people don't even think about, are pegboards. Pegboards we used in retail spaces where we're constantly changing things, but you can buy pegboards and you can make them fit your lifestyle or your needs of that season. So pegboards are great. Get an entire wall of pegboards and be able to store pots, pans, do it in a way that's creative, do it in a way that's chic. You can even create your own pegboard by getting, lots of hooks and putting them on the wall, but that is really a great idea. Also, don't forget about spaces that you probably wouldn't think about using, such as above cabinets in a kitchen. You can put wicker storage baskets that have lids, and then you can store items in there for the winter and so on. So you want to maintain a clutter-free environment. And the reason you want to do that is because for your mental health, there have been studies that have shown that if your space is free of clutter, so is your brain and so is your mental health. So you want to be able to put things away, keep things tidy. Also, the back of your door is your best friend. You can not only mirror it, but you can also add shoe storage. There are so many clever storage ideas where you can use the back of doors. So don't be shy about doing that. I wouldn't do it, obviously, a door that you can visually see, behind a bathroom door or a place that's a little bit more hidden. Now, investing in these vacuum bags for bulky storage winter items is also key. Many people overlook this. You can literally shrink 20 sweaters into 1 or 2. These things are incredible. Invest in them. That way you can just tuck things away and be able to have a lot more space for the things that matter on a day-to-day basis. Drawer dividers are always your best friend. I bought a bunch of drawer dividers recently where I lined up all of my belts because they just became too cluttered. Having these universal dividers really allows you to organize. And the better you organize, the more space you're going to have, and the easier it will be to find things. Regularly declutter and organize to maintain a sense of spaciousness. And this is something that is also very cathartic. I love, love, love organizing. I like taking everything out and putting it back in because you notice and you find things you've been looking for as well. So there is a benefit to that. So the right use of color and light can dramatically affect the perception of space. And in smaller spaces, as obvious as it may seem, you cannot go dark. You must keep a light color. And you want to keep it homogeneous. You don't want to start mixing and patching. So if you've got an apartment, feels cluttered, feels tight, immediately paint it a nice, beautiful white and keep it the same. Your baseboards, your walls, your ceilings, everything in the same color. And that way you can really create a spaciousness that's important, and light will be able to come in and will reflect off of the white walls. Another great example of making your space feel expansive are mirrors. I love mirrors. I love the reflection of the mirror. If you have a beautiful view, put a mirror so that it reflects that view. Or if you've got a little cozy set that looks great, a little corner that's artistic, put a mirror, and that will be reflected as well, and it will make your space feel larger. And we all need mirrors to check out our outfits, by the way, so this is a very utilitarian item. And instead of table lamps, opt for wall lamps. You don't have to drill holes. You can certainly buy them and plug them in. I've seen them everywhere. You don't have to clutter your nightstands and your tables with table lamps. You can be smart about it and use wall lamps such as sconces. There are also some visual tricks that you can play with the eye that are subtle that will make your space feel larger. So for example, if you hang large scale art and use bold wallpaper to create a focal point, this can draw your eye and make a room feel more spacious. So I always like to do that. Or you can use glass or acrylic furniture to reduce visual clutter. This coffee table in this living room that you guys have seen over and over again is full glass. I love it because it just makes the space feel airier and it's just visually pleasing. So opt for also low profile furniture to create the illusion of a higher ceiling. I love that. That's why I love mid-century pieces, because the scale to me was perfectly done in the 50s, and then people just went nuts in the 80s and so forth. So keep things low and you will be much happier. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If there are other topics that you need to tackle and need help with, I want you guys to sound off. If there's a suggestion for these small tips that really resonated with you, I want to hear about it. I can't wait to see you guys again here next week on this channel, The Red Elevator.